Alright, hello, citizens of the Nigelverse. It is Nigel here once again, and welcome back to the Labyrinth. I got some rather interesting poems this time for Dixie's Tales from the Labyrinth. A couple of these are a bit on the short side. I think, in fact, all of these are kind of sort of on the short side, as at least compared to some of the other poems I read. But I still think they were pretty interesting and cool, nevertheless. So, without further ado, let's get right into it. Starting with this first poem. By the way, for those of you who are new to Dixie's Tales from the Labyrinth, first of all, welcome. But also, I'm going to be reading 5 poems, 3 from myself, 2 from other poets, and a couple of the poets I've chosen for today, I think you guys will find pretty interesting. But without further ado, let's get into it. So, starting with this first poem, this is called Metal. Hot metal from the mouths of others burns the heart before hardening it for good. Sometimes words hurt, unfortunately, and the words of others may oftentimes tear us down, and a lot of people close their hearts out from others because of what others have said and even what others have done. So be careful how you treat and talk to others, of course. But which you probably didn't need me telling you that, but there's a lot of people who are just mean to people for no reason. But this next one's called Childhood Friends. To all my childhood friends, whether we still talk or not, I wish you all the best and hope you're all doing well in life. And I really mean that. There's a lot of people I grew up with, it kind of being somewhat friends with, or at least friendly with, growing up, friends and everything, who don't really see as much anymore. Some of them I'm still in contact with. Others I haven't seen in like ages. So, for those of you out there and your memory from childhood, I hope you're doing well and everything. Sadly, I know at least one or two of my childhood friends who sadly aren't doing too well. But otherwise, I hope you're doing well and everything in life, and I hope things are going great for you. And the ones that was like really close with in childhood, even if we're not as close anymore, to see them still doing good is really great and really fantastic. This next one is called Generations. Things go from one generation and are passed on to another, for better or for worse. And sadly, oftentimes, a lot of the behaviors that people exhibit is stuff that they learned, stuff that they've known growing up, and stuff that maybe they have a suspicion is wrong, but don't really know until they get older. Is put into perspective, like, wow, that was really messed up. And thankfully, there are people who have grown from that and who have realized the error of what they've grown up with, and then and cast that aside, saying, no, this is wrong. I don't want to do this anymore. But sadly, there are plenty of people who grew up with something and then not only keep doing that even when they know it's wrong, even when it's been pointed out to them, but then pass it on to their children, and then their children will pass it on to their children, and sadly it keeps going. But to be able to recognize something as kind of like wrong or bad that you used to do, even if, whether it was passed down to you or not, and then to grow from that is one of the best things. But this next one is called The Great Sea. This is by Uvavnuk, and if I mispronounced that, I do apologize. But this is translated by Jane Hirschfield, and I'll kind of get into sort of why in a little bit after we read this. But the great sea frees me, moves me, as a strong river carries a weed. Earth and her strong winds move me, take me away, and my soul is swept up in joy. So Uvavnuk was a Inuit woman who was a spiritual healer who also wrote poetry, and her poems have been adapted by several poets years after. She was more so prolific in the 19th century and everything. And obviously it's translated from the Inuit language to English, of course. But as for the context of the poem, kind of self-explanatory of the Great Sea. He personifying the sea, seeing the sea as a being or an entity, something that had, in this case, frees her, moves her. She forms a relationship or a bond with the sea, saying how the sea carries her because water's strong and the water current is strong and to be able to carry you and everything. And then she goes on to talk about the earth and how the earth, which of course a lot of people are very in tune with the earth. Earth believe that the earth is like living and everything, and that had the earth, and that's how they personify the earth as kind of nurturing and caring and being able to do things like this. So, seeing how it's described in the poem, not just imagery but personification, is always something I enjoy. Like, for those of you who have seen these before, I'm a big fan of imagery, and we definitely see it here. And this last one is called Catch, and this is by Langston Hughes. Big boy came, carrying a mermaid on his shoulders, and the mermaid had her tail curved beneath his arm. Being a fisher boy, he'd found a fish to carry, half fish, half girl to marry. This one's interesting. The fact that the person described in the poem caught a mermaid, not just a fish, but a mermaid, which of course has been depicted as half human, half fish, like the tail and everything. But how it's presented here, there are kind of two sides, two advantages to catching this particular specimen. And the fish is because, of course, the boy was fishing, but also this being a girl that the boy will marry. And seeing how it's presented here is pretty interesting. And it may allude to biraciality, which of course is mixed two races and everything. Might be those undertones here. That's kind of what I'm picking up on. But that's kind of just my interpretation of it, or maybe that's kind of what it means to me. He kind of like the best of both worlds, being presented here, not just the fish, but the girl as well. Also, kind of having both and kind of finding both might be a theme here, but again, that's kind of just my interpretation of it. And let me know what your guys' interpretation of it is. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please do me a favor, like, comment, subscribe, share it with your friends, turn on post notifications so you know every time I upload a video so you can see as soon as it drops. Let me know in the comments below your thoughts on the poems, your thoughts on my analysis of the poems. Did you like, dislike the poems? Did you like, dislike my analysis of the poems? And I will see you guys later. Peace.